So now let's track the lateral spinothalamic tract. External stimuli like tissue chemical factors from inflammatory agents such as bradykinin, hot temperatures, and mechanical stimuli activate the nociceptors, which stimulate the C fibers of the pseudo-unipolar neurons, first-order neurons, which relay the sensations from the receptors to the spinal cord, where they enter through the posterior grey horn. Immediately, these fibers give ascending branches and descending branches, which go down or up 2 or 3 segments. These ascending and descending branches form the tract of Liesauer. We shall discuss the clinical implications of this tract later. The continuous branch of the C fiber continues through the rexed laminae, and synapses in specific points, which are the substantia gelatinosa of Rolando and the marginal nucleus. Axons originating from this region form the second-order neurons and cross via anterior white commissure to the opposite side and reach the lateral column of the same segment. Let's pause for a minute, we shall get back to this. Cold temperatures activate the nociceptors that generate impulses relayed via the A-delta fibers, which, as you recall, we said are fast, and can localize the sensation. Pseudo-unipolar neurons, first-order neurons, relay the sensations from the receptors to the spinal cord, where they enter through the posterior grey horn, and as the C fibers, it immediately gives ascending branches and descending branches. They go down or up 2 or 3. These ascending and descending branches form the tract of Liesauer. As we said earlier, we shall discuss the clinical implications later in the video. The continuous branch of the A-delta fibers continues through the rexed laminae and synapses in specific points, the marginal nucleus and the reticular nucleus. Axons originating from this region form the second-order neurons and cross via anterior white commissure to the opposite side and reach the lateral column of the same segment. After crossing, the lateral column fibers, the C fibers, and the A-delta fibers form the lateral spinothalamic tract. From this point, it ascends various segments of the spinal cord, where in the medulla, it links up with the anterior spinothalamic tract and ascends as one large system. That is why it is referred to as the anterolateral system, or as other books referred to it as the spinal lemniscus pathway, which ascend to the thalamus. The A-delta fibers, which remember is a part of the lateral spinothalamic tract, ascend through the segments. It gives a few collaterals to the reticular formation, but most of them ascend to a nucleus in the thalamus, known as the ventral posterior lateral, and some can go with ventral posterior inferior, where it synapses with the third-order neurons, which relay these sensations to the primary sensory cortex in the parietal lobe, via the coronary radiata and through the posterior 1/3 of the internal capsule. So, this is where it gets interesting for the C fibers, which remember is also part of the lateral spinothalamic tract. About 15% of its fibers make it to the thalamus, and the rest, 85%, terminate in the reticular formation. The 15% that makes it to the thalamus, the second-order neurons, synapse at the intralaminar nucleus in the thalamus to form the third-order neurons that relay the sensations to the following structures. 1. Is those structures that interpret the pain from different parts of the body, the primary somatosensory cortex. 2. The part of the cortex that is associated with the emotional aspect of pain, the cingulate gyrus third, the part deep into the temporal lobe that is also associated with the emotional aspect of the pain, is referred to as the anterior insular cortex. So, as we finish up discussing the spinothalamic tract, let's tie up some loose ends.